What is up, everybody? Welcome. Today we're going to be breaking down episode 7 of Marvel's What If. What if Thor was an only child? Remember, this is full-on spoiler warnings because we are talking about everything that's happening. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. If you are going to watch this video, thank you for watching. Like, thumbs up, subscribe. This is only my second video, so please be gentle. All right. So we start off in New Mexico. Jane Foster's discovering an anomaly in space like she did in Thor 1. If you ask me, her pad, if you get a close look at her pad, it kind of looks like a silhouette of the Watcher. You can see the head with a little bit of a cape. So maybe she's detected him somehow. And also, I think it's foreshadowing to the end. And she's called S.H.I.E.L.D. and said there's an alien invasion that's coming. It's imminent. But it's not an alien invasion. It's just Thor ready to party. And he lands in Vegas, he invades Vegas, and they're all ready to party. Okay, and after we get a little bit of party scenes, we get a little bit of backstory from the Watcher telling us how because Loki wasn't his brother and didn't bring that balance for Thor, Thor became a much different prince and a much less responsible prince. We then find out Odin is going into Odin sleep. And he obviously has to restore himself. So Frigga and Thor then leave. Frigga's going to visit her sister. Thor is told that Heimdall is going to be watching him. I think it's weird that Heimdall had no lines. He said nothing. So Heimdall was going to be watching him, but he decides with the Warriors 3 that Lady Sif and the Warriors 3 that they're going to go to Earth because Heimdall, Earth is so back alley and so small that it doesn't need to be watched. So they're going to go to Midgard and have a party. Okay, so once that happens and we see that, we cut back to the party and Thor's just having a good old time. He's playing with scrolls. We meet Howard the Duck, and we also see that Howard the Duck marries Darcy from Elvis, and Elvis kind of looks like he could have been in the MCU as Ego in his human form, a young Ego. And then they have a really good hotel scene. I think that is kind of a callback to Hangover, and they're all passed out in the hotel. Rocket's there. It looks like Black Widow may be there, face down. You can't really tell. Thor is there. Lady Sif is there. So they're all passed out in this hotel room. So it definitely reminds me of Hangover. And Jane Foster's phone is ringing off the hook. The hotel phone's ringing off the hook. And it's Maria Hill and Crossbones as they're beating on the door to come and tell Jane Foster, like, hey, you're the one that warned us about this imminent threat. And now we hope you can help us. So they take them back to their base, which is the helicarriers. And which at this time, S.H.I.E.L.D. is still Hydra, right? And Maria Hill doesn't know it. The reason why she's acting director right now is because Korg literally ran over Nick Fury and knocked him unconscious. So like I said, it's a silly episode. It's really silly. So, Jane obviously is already taking the Thor, so she's trying to let them know no, they're not a threat. And it's like, yeah, what they're doing is destabilizing the planet. And Crossbones says, I have the last resort. And they open up the case that he's bringing in, and it's the beeper for Captain Marvel. Okay? So once they cut from that scene, we get to meet Frost Giant Loki. And he says, we're brothers from another mother. At first you think they might be adversaries, as he says, who is that butt ugly popsicle? Is he talking to me? So I thought that was a pretty funny line. But they're actually really good friends in this storyline. And you see a lot of people from past MCUs. Aisha from The Sovereign. You see Yondu pops up in here. And a couple of other characters that you see pop in and out. And it's again, mostly for nostalgia, I think. Let's see. Then right after that, then Captain Marvel gets summoned, and they come face to face with each other. And Thor's just telling her to lighten up. You're a party pooper. And Captain Marvel lays the first blow. they have, a fight scene where they're fighting across continents. So she tells him to put the hammer down, which is clearly a play on, of the Avengers movie. And she Thor hits her with the hammer, and they go from France, where they left Vegas, they went to France to go get crepes. And he hits her from France all the way to Hedgestone in the UK. And so, or Stonehenge in the UK. And so they fight there. Thor knocks down all the stones after she tells him not to. And then she hits him to America. And, they're fighting across the world. They fly over Hawaii, and it's a great little fight scene. It's probably the coolest thing of the episode is their fight scene, especially the fight scene in the desert where he's using his lightning and she's using her, her binary force or whatever. And she's just definitely strong. And I don't even think she's using full power, to be honest with you. So very, very God level fight. Very cool. So it was just kind of like one of those feel out fights. Again, an intro level fight, an origin story fight. And the next scene is Thor is calling Jane, and he wants to see Jane, and he's asking her, he's asking her, he's telling her you're the prettiest woman in Midgard, blah blah blah, and Jane again is trying to stick up for her, and Maria Hill is like, we're gonna have to launch a nuke at him. Like it goes real extreme. They go from like calling Captain Marvel to like trying to hit Thor with a nuke somewhere in the desert. So Jane tries to call back, and Loki answers, and he ends up breaking the phone. He drops the phone and ends up breaking the phone, so that way there's no communication between Jane and them. And you also see Surtur. He's there talking to the Statue of Liberty, and he's like, I got a crown too. I thought that was pretty funny. And then obviously the party's just getting out of hand. They're burning stuff. They're breaking stuff. The power grid is going down. There's just too much happening. They're going to take the St. Louis Arch and they're going to turn it into a slingshot, right? So there's a lot happening here that they're obviously destroying the planet. And it's at that moment where Thor is going to slide down the Opera House, and Captain Marvel intervenes. They have another little light battle, but meanwhile, Jane Foster has figured out a way to contact Heimdall by amplifying her voice through the signal, through some type of technology, right? And Heimdall hears her, and he uses the Bifrost to bring her to Asgard, and then immediately sends her to Frigga. Again, he says nothing. And Frigga, again, Natalie Portman, who is Jane Foster, tells on Thor that he's on Earth and he's going ham. She's like, go get that fool. And in the middle of their second fight, Frigga projects herself to Earth, and very motherly, very Howler-like. If you guys watch Harry Potter, she gets on Thor, and he's pretending like he's not on Earth, and clearly he is. Maria Hill and them stand down, obviously, because they were seconds away from detonating the nuke. And like, oh, what about Captain Marvel? Coulson was like, what about Captain Marvel? Oh, she'll be fine. So Maria Hill is she's out to shoot. I wonder if she's the Skrull right now in this timeline. We don't really know. Talos' wife. Thor ends up trying to clean up stopping the party, and they end up calling him the party pooper. And you see Nebula, you see Drax. Before you saw Nebula too, she was shooting the dice in Vegas, looking for a new eye. So Thor is trying to get everybody to clean up and be responsible, and like Loki's like, I'm out. So is Nebula. She's like, I hear my dad calling me. I thought that was a great line too. She's like, I hear my dad calling me. So she's like, I'd rather go to Thanos than clean up all this mess. And so anyway, Thor like amplifies his voice and he tells everybody, no, Frigga's coming. And like some of them are like, oh no, not Frigga. So they clean up everything. Obviously, they take the ice off the Mount Rushmore. They fix the St. Louis Bridge. He even fixed the Leaning Tower of Pisa. He fixes it and he puts it straight. So that's been a callback joke in a lot of movies. and Frigga comes, and then they're pretending like they're having a study group, right? And he gets everybody to follow along, and because he's supposed to be studying the 9 realms, so he gets everybody to pretend like he's having a study group, and she's not buying it, but obviously the gig is up when he summons his hammer, Mirror, and it's got beads all around it and underwear on it, and if you notice that the beads are the colors of the Infinity Stones, so it definitely. It's definitely a callback to that series. I mean, they got to get off the Infinity series eventually, but this is still definitely a callback to that. And then it cuts to Thor saying goodbye to Jane. He's brought some flowers, saying, "Can I call you? Is that cool?" And she's like, "Nah, not cool, bruh." He's like, "I gotta get it." She's like, "I gotta get a date. Give me some quality time." So he's like, "Okay, we can do that." He's like, "I got a whole planet of unicorns we can go to." I thought that was weird. It was like, okay, so everybody on the planet is unicorn, even waiters. I was like, all right, that's kind of, like I said, this episode is silly AF. If you like silly stuff, you're going to like this. But where it gets cool is at the end, where the Watcher starts to come in. He's like, oh, a happy ending, and they live happily ever after. And I was like, really? And then he's like, oh, wait, oh, shoot. And then a portal opens up, and Ultron comes out, but he's like, Ultron Infinite, and he's got all the Infinity Stones and a suit gauntlet. He's got all his drones, because he rolled deep like the president, and he's got the Mind Stone in his head, and it looks like Vision's body. It's really dark, but it looks like it's Vision's body. So it looked like in this universe he was able to complete the transfer, and maybe it's because all the Avengers died. In that one episode from Hank Pym, he came from that one. We don't really know because none of these stories seem to link. And I don't know, comment, talk to me, let me know what you guys think about this. But, they're going to have to link it together. There's only 2 episodes left. And I believe the next one is Gamora versus Tony. And the last one, I guess, is the culmination of where Ultron and them all get together. There's a Hyundai ad where it shows them fighting against all the android, droids from Ultron. So there's a couple of rumors floating around out there how they switched episode 5 and 7. And if you've been watching the episodes, you can kind of tell because episode 7, which is Thor, the Watcher was further away than he was even in episode 6, where you can actually see the color of his skin and everything else. If every episode from 1 through 7, you can kind of get a clearer view of the Watcher. He grows closer, and I think they did flip 5 and 7 to draw more attention because I guess they thought people would be more interested in the zombie one. Maybe they did switch the episodes a little bit because if you follow the trend, the Watcher has been getting closer to us, and in this episode he was further away than he was in episode 6, where you can actually see his skin color, see his face, and it's obviously leading up to him intervening, which he says that he doesn't do, but to me, I think he will intervene at the end. And maybe this is setting up some type of Ultron to come back in the MCU. Ultron was a pretty good villain. Kevin Spader did portray him pretty well, I thought. So, I mean, that would be cool to see if we get that. But they got to, again, I don't know if I want to see another Infinity Saga reboot. I'm excited about No Way Home. I'm excited about going forward. So again, we'll see. Nothing's written in stone until Kevin Feige and them actually put it down on paper and then put it on the video. So we'll see what happens. All right, so the pop of the day comes from Loki, B15. That's a nice one. Amazon exclusive. She may not come out the box. What do you guys think? Those suits are badass. This is TVA up the side and everything. Pretty sick with the helmet. The detail on these Funko Pops are amazing. Amazing. But again, thank you for watching my video. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, subscribe. Hopefully we're going to do more of these. I'm going to get better at these. And I appreciate your time. Thank you. Have a good day.